On this episode of Orlando Real Recap, we're going to talk about a Major League Baseball player's $30 million home right outside of Orlando that was just hit the market. We're going to talk about how Congress is going to make hedge funds get out of the real estate game, and so much more. This episode of Orlando Real Recap is brought to you by the Pozek Group Real Estate Agents, my real estate team here in Orlando. We've got over 740 five-star reviews over on Google. Check us out when you're ready to buy or sell a house, whether that's today or way in the future. We're here to help. Info at pozekgroup.com to get started. Do you want to live like an all-star and also have $30 million to spend on a house? Well, I got something here for you in Central Florida. Former Major League Baseball player Johnny Damon has currently listed his house for $30 million. It was built in 2010. It's over 20,000 square feet, almost 5 acres of property sitting on Lake Butler, my favorite chain in all of Central Florida. This thing is pristine. It's got a basketball court and tennis court. It's got an amazing pool area with grotto, gym in the house, and it's just really nice overall. I mean, looking at Shaq's house that we did a tour of, I think this house is honestly nicer and it's not as close to the road. I look at the other house that sold for $35 million in Isleworth and I compare that one to this one, and honestly, this one has more amenities. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually gets this price, but let me know if you had the money, would you buy it? Holiday travel is upon us, and with MCO having about 50 million passengers flowing through it this year, one thing that comes up to a lot of locals is our parking situation over at MCO. And so you look at the parking decks at A and B and C, and they're pretty much full at all times at this point. So MCO has heard our cries. They see the growth and all of the new airlines coming to the area, and they're opening 2 more parking lots. And so we'll have 515 new parking spaces. They'll be charging $20 a day for surface level parking with a little bus that'll take you over to the main terminals. It's about $5 cheaper than parking in the main decks. And so they are going to alleviate some of this. So let me know down below, are you going to be traveling this holiday season, and will you be parking there or just taking an Uber? The third story I want to talk about today is the End Hedge Fund Ownership in American Homes Act of 2023. It's a mouthful. And what this has to do is getting the hedge funds and institutional investors out of single-family home ownership. Now, I actually think this is a good thing. Over the past 3 to 5 years, you might have noticed that if you went to buy a house and you missed out to a cash buyer, it was a really good chance that that was an institutional investor. So what does this bill actually do? Well, if you own more than 75 single-family residences, they are going to force you to sell those over the next 10 years or get a $10,000 per home per year fine. They're going to take all of that money and put it into a fund for low income and affordable housing projects. Now, I think this is a good thing. Ultimately, home ownership should be allowed for everyone, and the more expensive homes get, the higher rent gets, the more people are not able to get into the housing game. And so I think that this is actually a good move. We'll see if it passes both the House and Senate and go all the way up to the president to sign. But let me know down below, should the government get involved? Story number 4 comes out of the theme park, specifically Epcot, because the walls have finally come down. If you visited over the past 4 or 5 years, you know that Epcot has been a construction zone with Guardians going on. We had Moana, Journey of Water, and World Celebration Gardens in the middle. Now, there's still some construction going on, but we're starting to see what Epcot will be for the next decade or so. And honestly, I'm excited. There's a lot of people online, Instagram, TikTok, that have really been crapping on sort of the renderings, the original renderings, and then what we ultimately got. And listen, I feel like the renderings on everything are always better than what we end up getting. So I'm going to go in the complete opposite direction and say that I really enjoyed it. We did a whole review over on Instagram and TikTok if you want to check out the daytime, where you can actually sit there and work with your laptop. You can charge your phones. There's a lot of seating areas, which are really cool. But really where Epcot shines is at night, because this entire area just really comes alive. I'm going to start fighting for Epcot to stay open later. If someone's watching from Disney, I think that it should be more of a park experience that caters to adults after dark. You've got the Journey of Water, which is actually amazing during the day, but even more incredible at night. You've got the World Celebration Gardens with the Walt statue, and you've got the logo ingrained in lights in the floor that also kind of mimics over at the Globe, and then over at Guardians at night. All of this stuff has to be experienced at night because the lights and the cool air going on right now and the music that they've interwoven through this whole thing, all the way down at World Showcase with Luminous Symphony of Us, the new show, I think just ties together really, really well. And so the fact that the show ends and then they kick everybody out of the park seems like a missed opportunity to me. So let me know down below, have you visited Epcot? What did you think of the new show and World Celebration? That's this week's episode of Orlando Real Recap. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know down below which of these stories are going to affect you the most. We'll see you guys on the next video. Shoo.